everybody. Today we're going to read a really sad chapter. It's called Last Day and it's chapter 21. It's quite long, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to read a little bit of the chapter, tell you kind of what happens in the middle, and then skip to the end because I was aware that my video yesterday was very long, almost 10 minutes. And I know you've got busy days ahead of you. So, chapter 21, The Last Day. Charlotte and Wilbur were alone. The families had gone to look for Fern. Templeton was asleep. Wilbur lay resting after the excitement and strain of the ceremony. His medal still swung from his neck. By looking out of the corner of his eye, he could see it. "Charlotte," said Wilbur after a while, "why are you so quiet?" "I like to sit still," she said. "I've always been rather quiet." "Yes, but you seem especially so today. Do you feel all right?" "A little tired, perhaps, but I feel peaceful. Your success in the ring this morning was, to a small degree, my success. Your future is assured. You will live secure and safe, Wilbur. Nothing can harm you now. These autumn days will shorten and grow cold. The leaves will shake loose from the trees and fall. Christmas will come, and then the snows of winter. You will live to enjoy the beauty of the frozen world. And for you mean a great deal to Mr. Zuckerman, and he will not harm you ever. Winter will pass, the days will lengthen, the ice will melt in the pasture pond, the song sparrow will return and sing, and the frogs will awake. The warm wind will blow again. All these sights and sounds and smells will be yours to enjoy, Wilbur, in this lovely world, these golden days." Charlotte stopped. A moment later, a tear came to Wilbur's eye. "Oh, Charlotte," he said, "to think that when I first met you, I thought you were cruel and bloodthirsty." When he recovered from his emotion, he spoke again. "Why did you do all of this for me?" he asked. "I don't deserve it. I've never done anything for you." "You have been my friend," replied Charlotte. "That in itself is a tremendous thing. I wove my webs for you because I liked you. After all, what's life anyway? We're born, we live a little while, and we die. A spider's life can't help being something of a mess, with all this trapping and eating flies. By helping you, perhaps I was trying to lift up my life a trifle. Heaven knows anyone's life can stand a little of that." "Well," said Wilbur, "I'm no good at making speeches. I haven't got your gift for words. But you have saved me, Charlotte, and I would gladly give my life for you. I really, really would." "I'm sure you would, and I thank you for your generous sentiments." "Charlotte," said Wilbur, "we're all going home today, and the fair is almost over. Won't it be wonderful to be back home in the barn cellar again, with the sheep and the geese? Aren't you anxious to get home?" For a moment Charlotte said nothing. Then she spoke in a voice so low, Wilbur could hardly hear the words. "I will not be going back to the barn," she said. Wilbur leapt to his feet. "Not going back?" he cried. "Charlotte, what are you talking about?" "I'm done for," she replied. "In a day or two, I'll be dead. I haven't even strength enough to climb down into the crate. I doubt if I have even enough silk in my spinneret to lower me to the ground." Hearing this, Wilbur threw himself down in an agony of pain and sorrow. Great sobs racked his body. He heaved and grunted with desolation. "Charlotte," he moaned. "Oh, Charlotte, my true friend." "Oh, come on now. Let's not make a scene," said the spider. "Be quiet, Wilbur. Stop thrashing about." "But I can't stand it," shouted Wilbur. "I won't leave you here alone to die. If you're going to stay here, I shall stay too." "Oh, don't be ridiculous," said Charlotte. "You can't stay here. Zuckerman and Lurvy and John Arable and all the others will be back any minute now, and they'll shove you into that crate and away you'll go. Besides, it wouldn't make any sense for you to stay. There'll be no one to feed you. The fairground will soon be empty and deserted. Wilbur was in a panic. He raced round and round in the pen. Suddenly he had an idea. He thought of the egg sack and the 514 little spiders that would hatch in the spring. If Charlotte herself was unable to go home to the barn, at least he must take her children along. So at this point, what happens is, we'll just come away from the book for a second, Wilbur asks Templeton to help him to move the egg sack so that it's in the crate. So Templeton obliges and he's friendly for once. And Wilbur says, "Thank you, Templeton," he said. "I will never forget this as long as I live." "Neither will I," said the rat, picking his teeth. "I feel as though I've eaten a spool of thread. Well, home we go." Templeton crept into the crate and buried himself into the straw. He got out of sight just in time. Lurvy and John Arable and Mr. Zuckerman came along at that moment, followed by Mrs. Arable and Mrs. Zuckerman and Avery and Fern. Wilbur had decided how he would carry the egg sack. There was only one way possible. He carefully took the little bundle in his mouth and he held it there on top of his tongue. He remembered what Charlotte had told him, that the sack was waterproof and strong. It felt funny on his tongue. It made him drool a little bit. And of course he couldn't say anything, but as he was being shoved into the crate, he looked up at Charlotte and he gave her a wink. She knew he was saying goodbye in the only way he could, and she knew that her children were safe. "Goodbye," she whispered, and then she summoned all her strength and waved one of her front legs at him. She never moved again. Next day, as the Ferris wheel was being taken apart and the racehorses were being loaded into the vans and the entertainers were packing up their belongings and driving away in their trailers, Charlotte died. The fairgrounds were soon deserted, the sheds and buildings were empty and forlorn, and the infield was littered with bottles and trash. Nobody of the hundreds of people that had visited the fair knew that a grey spider had played the most important part of all. No one was with her when she died. So as I said, it is a sad chapter, but there is more to the book. This is not the end. So we will find out more about what happened to Charlotte and Charlotte's children when they get back to the farm. Okay, have a lovely day, everybody. Bye.